There it is, the Yankee Way, the untold inside story of the Brian Cashman era is now available wherever books are sold, and it's the latest book from our friend, Andy Martino. So, Andy, we had an opportunity to talk about this yesterday on my podcast, New York, New York, and I want you to share with the SNY audience what inspired you to go about writing this story about Brian Cashman.
You know, JJ, I would say the best way to summarize that is probably that the continuity that the Yankees have, whether you like them or not, whether you're a Yankee fan and you like Cashman or not, that's not really the point. They have more continuity in their baseball operations than any team currently, any organization in the sport. So I thought that being able to tell the story of an executive who got there during what now seems like the baseball stone age and is still there during the age of all these advanced analytics was a way to tell the story of the game itself. And I would humbly submit that it's why a Mets fan or a Red Sox fan or anyone else might get something out of this book too, because it's the game itself. And then when it's the Yankees, obviously, this is as close to the baseball Beatles as you're going to get. A-Rod, Jeter, Torrey, George Steinbrenner, you could go on. So there's just so many big characters. It's not a biography of Cashman. It's a book about the whole era, multiple eras, the whole organization. And I tried to really give some color and some insight into all these big characters. So not only to get to tell that broader story, but there's a lot of fun, juicy stuff in there, too, with the Yankees. So I guess that's why I picked this topic.
Okay, so he takes over in 1998.
Yep.
It's a GM turnstile before that. I know G. Michael had great success, but it was the George factor. He comes in as this young GM and really leaves his mark, Andy, with two particular trades very early in his tenure that kind of set the foundation, did he not?
He gets Chuck Knobloch, and that was a major contributing factor to the dynasty before the throwing issues kicked in. And then after 98, Cashman, and Brian, you know this, he's a good reporter. He's got his ear to the ground in his organization. And after 98, he thought, this team is getting a little complacent. They're not as hungry and thirsty as they were naturally before winning the two World Series, and that's human nature. But it's a bold move for a 30-year-old GM to say, I'm going to take the uber-popular David Wells, a little easier internally because Torrey and Mel Stottlemyre didn't like him. But anyway, the fans loved him, and you're going to trade him for Roger Clemens, who they hate? Cashman said to me in the interview for this book, that was an earthquake. He was like, I would have the guts to do that now. I don't know how I had the guts to do that then. But that sort of helped them then reinvigorate the second wave of the dynasty, is coming in after his first year and doing that Clemens trade, for sure.
Now, having been through parts of the book, one of the parts that stuck out to me was Derek Jeter and the contract negotiations. He has the declining year in 2010. It becomes a question, what is he worth? Who could you replace him with? And I loved how they didn't intend for things to get that messy, but you have some of the details of how it got messy. What did you learn from going through that process of how close Jeter was to potentially not being a Yankee?
I think he was always going to come back, but it got close. The game of chicken got a little intense, and both sides took a pause, so it didn't. And I know you were covering this at the time. I don't know if you ever thought, Brian, that it was going to completely fall apart, but it got nasty in a way that was more than expected. And what I learned from covering the book, or from writing the book, this was the most challenging section of reporting probably I did, because Team Jeter and Team Yankees are still mad about this. It's like, no. They said something first. Cashman told me in 2023, Casey Close fired first in a Mike Lupica column. That's Jeter's agent. And we were caught off guard and pissed off. And Jeter's side is like, no. The Yankees leaked, and they tried to make us look bad. And those sides will never get over it. Jeter, I learned through this reporting that Jeter and Cashman made something of a little bit of peace at Jeter's Hall of Fame induction. Jeter approached Cashman to thank him. But at the end of the day, let's just say that didn't result in them going on family vacations together right after that or anything. The wounds are so raw from that that they still exist on some level.